And I know of people who have done permanent brain damage from not sleeping. Because I don't know if you know this, but that is like the one thing that David Blaine won't fuck with is sleep deprivation. He won't fuck with it.
Is that why I'm so fucked up?
It could be. I mean, it really could be.
That's what's wrong with me.
You're listening to the Hey Weto podcast.
Can somebody give me a high?
With everyone's favorite Weto, El Weto Sancho. Sit down, buckle up, and come along for the ride. It's about to get spicy.
Well, guys, welcome to another fantastic episode of Hey Weto. I've been told that I'm everybody's favorite Weto, El Weto Sancho. And today we're going to be talking about addiction and overcoming addiction. That's the most important part. So today I have a good friend of mine, Travis Cloudy, and a little East Texas boy.
Well, East Texas. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, where'd you grow up at?
Nacogdoches. On a chicken farm.
Go Lumberjacks.
Hey, act some jacks, man. Yeah.
Yeah. My niece, she goes to SFA.
Yeah,
well,
I met her at the lake. Yeah, I met her.
Yeah, and we were talking about, I was like, what is y'all's team, or what is it called at SFA? She's like, the Lumberjacks.
Absolutely, dude.
I was like, slaying morning wood, I tell you what.
There's nothing to fucking do up there.
Really?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome. So, man, so you have a pretty interesting story. I've heard some of the stories. You talk about, your addictions in the past. And one of the reasons we wanted to do this was like you said, like somebody's going through it.
absolutely.
100% somebody's going through it
At this moment, yeah.
And I know people who are. So what was one of your main addictions back in the day?
Man, I'll start by saying this. There was absolutely zero reason for me to even get involved with drugs. Mm-hmm. I mean, you see a lot of people who grow up and they're like, oh, I'm an alcoholic or I'm addicted to this drug because my dad was and his dad was. That wasn't the case with me. My family was awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, I grew up, I didn't want for anything. Spoiled ass, rotten, lived on a farm, got everything I ever wanted. And, it really started because of a girl. It started because of a breakup. Mm. And, dude, I was clean cut. Like, through school, through high school, I didn't do any drugs. I didn't smoke weed. I drank, but, that's what all high school kids do.
Right.
It really started, I had a high school sweetheart, junior year of high school, met this girl, thought, oh, I'm going to marry this chick.
Yeah, that never works out.
No, it didn't. And, we were together for like 4 years. And I remember it vividly, dude. Like, she broke up with me and it broke my heart. I mean, it broke me. And see, all this other stuff was going on around me, but I was so naive and oblivious to it that my friends were doing these fucked up things.
So did she do drugs?
No. She didn't. Her brother did.
Yeah.
And I'm not, obviously won't mention any names.
Right,
keep
right,
everybody,
Yeah.
Her brother did. And I was just naive to the fact that this was actually going on around me so close to me. And I remember the night, like, she broke up, she moved all her shit out, and I was just distraught. I was just heartbroken. And a buddy of mine was staying with me. He was getting fucked up all the time, under my nose, had no clue. And, dude, I remember we were at a car wash in Nacogdoches, Texas, on University Drive. And he was like, look, dude, I know you don't do this shit, and I see you're hurting, but this will take your mind off of it. I promise you.
That sucks.
And we laid out an old CD case, got a credit card, crushed it up, rolled up a $1 bill. That was my first line of meth.
Really?
And it was fucking downhill from there.
So is it, I've never done any hard drug in my life.
Okay.
I'm not quite as bad as Dave when it comes to like I've tried.
Never done anything.
Yeah, I've tried weed. I'm not a big fan of it.
Me either.
But whatever. But so with meth, like, what keeps you going back? Is it the first time it's awesome? Is it like a cigarette? Because I was addicted to cigarettes, obviously.
You've never done cocaine?
Nope. So is it a good feeling?
You feel like you're 10 foot tall and bulletproof?
Yeah, but then you see people, right, who are just all fucked up walking the streets, and you're like, how like,
they may not be on meth. They may be banging heroin. They may be coming down off, haven't gone through withdrawals. When you do your first line of speed, any issue you have going on in your life is fucking gone.
But see, like I think I've seen the other side of meth
Yeah.
from a sober perspective
Yeah.
so many times that I would never even like want to try. And you were probably too young to see the destruction of meth.
I was 22,
That's
21,
I'm saying
which now you look at it,
That's pretty
they're all
young,
stupid.
like
Yeah,
because
yeah.
like at our age we see the destruction of meth.
Sure.
So like, and I know of people who have done permanent brain damage from not sleeping. Because I don't know if you know this, but that is like the one thing that David Blaine won't fuck with is sleep deprivation. He won't fuck with it.
Is that why I'm so fucked up?
It could be. It really could be.
That's what's
Dude,
wrong with me.
I can tell you, I can show you people right to this day who are probably clean, but they're still paranoid. They still like they're just off the fucking deep end, and it's because of a couple of, benders. What do you fucking call them? Of sleepless, weeks.
I can tell you this: when I was really in it, and to put it into perspective, from 2003 to 2010 until September 2010, I did hard drugs every single fucking day.
That's amazing.
And when I was on meth, the sleep schedule would be like
Every 3 days.
up for, I think the longest I was up was 6 days.
Jesus fuck.
Um,
Do you remember ever like getting loony or
Loony?
or like,
Bro,
when I say loony, like hallucinations?
Yeah, well,
any
I'll
of
tell you
that?
this. So there was one time, and this was kind of maybe closer toward the end of it. So let me lay this scenario out for you. So I lived in a dope house, and it was me and 2 other guys. And we were bringing in dope, meth, from 3 different cooks. So 2 of the guys had somebody in Nacogdoches area. I had a cook in Lufkin. And, outside perspective looking in, it's just trash. Those people are trash. We were trash. I understand that now. But in the midst of it, when you show up to a house party and you've got, an ounce of meth on you, you're like fucking Santa Claus, dude.
Really?
Oh, dude. Like you're the person.
Yeah.
And so we were living in this house. I'd already lost my jobs at this point, because I was a working user
For a while.
until it got to the point where it's like, dude, you look like you've lost some weight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been working out, this and that. I mean, dude, I'm a
Training for a marathon.
I'm a dude. I go to the gym. I was 160 pounds,
Yeah.
just sunk in. So, you were talking about hallucinating. I remember one night, one of the guys, he was like, "Hey, pop this capsule." I was like, "What the fuck?" Remember the old hydroxycuts and Xenadrins?
yeah.
So we would empty those out and pack it full of meth, as much as you could put in there. Just cram it. You pop this capsule. So I popped the capsule, did a big old fucking rail. And when that capsule dropped, dude, I remember I was in the bathroom, butt naked, looking in the mirror. My eyes were completely dilated. I could hear tugboats going through the house. And when I would see the people, they looked like midgets. This is God's honest fucking truth. And I overamped, and I fell out in my room. How cold. And I woke up the next morning not really knowing what happened. I'm like, did I overamp? Like, did I almost die? Now, did it stop me from
Doing it again?
fuck no, it didn't. But it happens. And when you're up for 5-6 days,
with your mind.
It fucks with your mind. Like I remember you look at the trees outside and they're all, everything's moving, and you see weird shapes and weird things that aren't fucking there. And the sleep schedule was you're up. 6 days was extreme. Usually it was 3.
Right. But still, that's a lot.
I'd be up for 3 days. I'd sleep for 24 hours straight, and we'd wake up and we'd do it all over again.
So did you have paranoia? Because I've seen a lot of people with meth, they have paranoia.
You peek
when
out
they're
the blinds. You peek out the blinds. And the thing about Nacogdoches, they don't have this down here, but we had a task force up there specifically for that.
Yeah.
Because it was prevalent.
Because
it was
like
everywhere.
for those people who don't get in those areas, those rural areas, I mean, dude, meth is bad.
Dude.
Because it's a cheap drug.
Oh, you need some household chemicals, man.
Yeah, like my sister, she lived up the lake, which is, pretty similar
It's
to
East Texas, yeah.
Yeah, and they had a dude called Bathtub Bubba.
It's a bathtub crank.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
And like, I'm like, y'all are fucking stupid.
I mean, dude, it got so bad. I was taking my work vehicle with an old crackhead and going by Walmart and the auto parts store, getting Red Devil Eye and heat and all this shit so he could make up a batch at the house one day. I mean,
so I've talked to people, and again, I don't want to, throw out
don't throw names. Yeah. You know who you are.
You know who you are. But who said like the meth of today, even
It's shit.
It's just, but it like the meth of the 70s or whatever is totally different than probably the meth you were like.
It was all biker crank.
Yeah,
It's bathtub crank. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just so different. It's not as people just didn't get as fucked up in life with it.
Now, and I haven't done meth in shit. It's probably been 2009 was the last time I did it. Maybe 2010. It's been a long time, 14 years. It was made with anhydrous ammonia. And see, the shit we used to do, we called it red dope, okay? Like the red shit on matches and stuff like that, red phosphorus.
Right.
And
Learned that from Breaking Bad.
Yeah. So, that show, fuck, I'd sit there and just salivate watching that show.
Really?
Like, I can't help it. I'm doing it right now. Can't help it.
Really?
It's an uncontrolled response. But we would go around and get all these Sudafed hydrochloride pills, 60 milligrams, bring it back to the cook, and they would pull the ephedrine out of it. And I don't know the whole fucking process. I was just a dope head at the time. I was selling it, and I was doing it, and I was having a good time.
So that was your main form of living, was selling the dope?
Well, dude, I was a merchandiser at Pepsi in Lufkin. And I was in the beverage industry until I quit working at the beer company a couple years ago. I mean, that was my industry. That's what I knew. And I still worked. I wanted to work. I had a good work ethic, but I liked drugs and I liked having fun. And it got to a point where I couldn't do both. I was going on these binges and I was missing work and shit. And they're like, dude, you got to fucking go. We know something's up with you. You're done. So when those things would arise, and it happened more than once over that 7-year span, I would be like, fuck it, I'm just going to start selling this shit. I got to make money.
Right.
Nobody's
live.
No. And see, you said earlier, from the outside looking in, you can see it.
Right.
When you're in that,
you don't see it.
You think you're just a normal functioning person in society. Nobody can tell you're fucked up.
Yeah, like I've had so many people, like over the years, unfortunately, we've had people who worked for us that have, gone off on drugs, and they're just like, dude, I'm not on drugs. What are you fucking stupid? I'm not on drugs. And it's like, but from the outside looking in, you're like, whatever.
You are.
Like you can see it. Like you can see it from a mile away.
Yeah.
And so that's what I don't understand, because I've never been through it. So it's hard for me to be empathetic on some things, because like you're saying, you're salivating right now. Just thinking about it.
It's not because I want it. I don't.
Just, right.
Yeah.
So is there ever that fear of like going back? What keeps you from going back?
You have to surround yourself with the right people.
So let's just say this. Let's say if you were still in NAC, or you surrounded yourself here. Let's say your wife got into meth, and God don't kill me. She's going to come through the fucking screen. Or just any of your close friends, like it would be pretty close or pretty soon behind you. You would be right into the steps, because it'd be around you. And listen, I know this sounds stupid, but the only thing I can relate it to, and I tell my wife this, I feel like I'm a chocoholic. So
I am too.
So chocolate is a thing where my uncle, my dad, they've battled alcoholism.
Okay.
And they both, I was young when my dad died. But my uncle, told me as an adult, he's like, it's like you have one drink and there is no bottom. There's another one, there's another one, there's another one, there's another one. I'm the same way with chocolate. My wife's like, just have better willpower. I'm like, bro, like I'm like, would you stop putting Hershey Kisses out on the counter? I cannot.
Leah, stop fucking buying Oreos.
Dude,
stop.
I cannot. Like, I'll be like, I'm going to have 3 Hershey Kisses and I'll be done.
Times what?
Times 5
till the bowl's fucking empty.
It's just like,
you can't stop.
It's like, and then I feel like shit afterwards.
Right.
And so the reason I bring that up, I don't mean to relate chocolate to meth.
You're like, oh, you do meth. I eat Hershey's Kisses.
Same
Same fucking thing.
Same thing.
Yeah.
It's that you know, I feel like shit afterwards. And so I want to say that I would think people feel like shit afterwards on meth, or for a brief second at some point when you're coming down or something.
You do.
And then but like as soon as it's put in front of your face, you're like,
you do more. Yeah.
And then it's like, fuck,
You're like a
knowing
dog
that
over
you're
a
going to feel
bowl.
like shit later.
The thing is, the feeling like shit was short lived because you feel like shit when you're coming down and you have one of two options. You do another bump or you fucking go to sleep. That's it. And when you go to sleep and you wake up, it's not like alcohol. You don't have a hangover. You wake up totally normal. And I've always been a person with like self-confidence issues, weight issues. It's
Right.
real easy. It was always real easy for me to like gain a bunch of weight. So when I started doing speed, weight started coming off and shit. I started getting female attention. It was just like, this is fucking fun.
Yeah.
This is fun, you know?
Yeah.
But, you know, you find yourself in situations like, I remember one night, one of the people that cooked, they're like, hey, we need some pills to make this shit. If y'all go get us X amount of Sudafed pills, you know, we're going to break y'all off a couple of 8 balls a piece. 8 balls, 3.5 grams of meth. And at that time, you're talking $350. And in 2003, it was a lot of money.
Yeah.
Now you can't fucking buy groceries with it, but still. So we loaded up in Lufkin one night, and we had a coffee filter full of dope that hadn't even went through the whole fucking process. It was brown. We didn't give a fuck. We were snorting this shit. We were fucked up. We've been up for days. We're going to Houston to go steal Sudafed pills from convenience stores and grocery stores. This was our wild fucking idea.
Great plan.
Great plan. We're down there. I get caught stealing in a Kroger. I think it was on Westheimer. And they told me, they're like, you're either going to buy all these or we're going to call the cops. So I'm fucking, okay, I'll buy them. No problem. I bought them. End of the night, we end up with 1,000 Sudafed pills in a Nokia cell phone box, empty box under the seat of my truck. And it's probably 3 a.m. We're trying to get the hell out of here. I cut off a cop getting on the interstate.
Mm-hmm.
Lights me up. I'm like, motherfucker, this is distributing. We're fucked.
Right.
He gets up. You know, where are you going? Get the whole spiel. Insurance, this and that. I give it to him. I said, man, we've been down here visiting some friends. Kind of turned around, just trying to find Highway 59 and head back up to Lufkin, you know. Never searched us. Didn't give us a ticket, nothing. And let us fucking go.
Mm-hmm.
I've had so many fucking close calls like this.
So you've never been arrested
I've been arrested
Based
numerous
on-
times.
based on meth?
Not drug related.
Okay.
I've been for dumb shit. I got a DWI in 2000. You know,
How old were you in 2000?
18, 19.
So you were
I was underage.
minor.
But you know the crazy thing? So you know I'm a CDL driver.
Mm-hmm.
Spent the weekend in jail. The cop never fucking filed it on me. I never had to go to court. He just taught me a lesson. That was it. Like, I've had so many brushes with the law.
I'm sorry, because it's pretty easy to get a DWI. Like it really is.
Yes.
Like, let's just be honest. Like you could leave a Mexican restaurant buzzed and get
Absolutely.
get
It's pretty easy.
It's pretty easy.
Yeah.
And that's why, like, the people who do get them, like, they're not drunk. Like, some are drunks, right? Some are not. They're just good working class people who, you know, they've gotten real strict with it because of the dumbasses who drink themselves to obliterate, you know, go out and kill people.
That's
like
it.
we've seen it.
You have to.
And so, you know, people get embarrassed by it, and it's like, man, that could happen to me leaving fucking Tequila's on Gulfway.
Absolutely.
You know,
To make you a bad person.
No, you're
Yeah.
not a bad person. You're
No.
not an alcoholic or
No.
anything. It just fucking happens.
It happens.
But like with meth, you know, so is there any way for them to like if you're driving around fucking
I'm sure they can test your blood.
Yeah, but like
But that's the thing. Like, you know, I've been pulled over numerous times. Like, they were watching us. Like, in Nacogdoches, it's not a big town, 30,000 people.
and they know what the drug of choice
They know what the drug of choice is. They knew who was bringing it in. They knew what the fuck we were doing in that house. They were watching us. I mean, I'd leave and just get fucking pulled over like the shit you see on TV.
Right.
They were watching us.
Yeah.
I search the vehicle. There's nothing in here. Fuck you. I'm going to continue on doing what I'm doing.
Right.
It got to the point that by the end of it, dude, I guess it was like 04-ish. I was in that house by myself. So one person had already moved off and got in trouble. The other one moved off for work. He was trying to change his shit. I'm staying in this house alone. And it was me and my dog. We had no food. We had no money. We had no power. We had no nothing. And I remember I went to let him outside one night, and I walk outside, and there's a white unmarked van here. There's another one here, and there's a third one on this other street.
Mm-hmm.
The dog's out there using the bathroom, and I just look at him and throw him a nod, walk back in the house. His lights come on. His lights come on. They talk, go to him. They all burn off. I'm like, you can watch all you want, dude. I ain't got no dope anymore. It's fucking done. It's dried up. I don't have a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of at this point. And, my parents, they were great. My dad, he passed in 2012. Mm-hmm. But during this time, like, he was the old school, like, I walked uphill back and forth to work he didn't do drugs. He didn't drink. So he couldn't relate, So I couldn't, like, they knew what I was doing. Like, they had gotten phone calls from the police department that said, hey, Travis is over here doing this. People that we knew, he's up here doing this. Get him out of this house. Like, they knew what I was doing, but they couldn't comprehend it because I was never a fuck up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I remember my dad, he came and my truck was broke down and we towed it to the house, and he's like, you're about to get your shit straight. And they were going to ship me off to the military. It was like, you're going to the Air Force or you're going to school. You're done with this shit.
Right.
And, as a 22-year-old at this time, 23, whatever I was, you still think you know everything when you don't know shit.
Correct.
So I went and took the test to go to the Air Force, scored really well on it, which, doing tests was never my issue. I was always smart. Mm-hmm. But the girl I was dating at the time lived in Little Cypress, where she was from Little Cypress. And she was fixing to graduate SFA, and she's like, I'm moving back home. And I'm like, I don't really want to go off to the Air Force because I'm hung up on this chick, right?
Right.
So I'm like, I'm going to go take a semester of college here in Lufkin. That's what I'm going to do. This was her last semester, my last semester. I was still trying to figure out what I wanted to do for the future.
Right.
My sister was a nurse. My brother was a nurse. And my parents were just like, medical field. I said, I'm going to go be a nurse. And to tell you how not serious I was about this, when I remember we're in this big room and it's like nursing, radiology, and there's all these different things you can take. I'm in the line for nursing. I'm like, this fucking line is long, and these chicks are ugly, and this, what the fuck? I look over radiology. It's a shorter line, better looking girls. I'm like, I think I'm gonna try radiology, and I just fucking go over here. Like, I was not serious about it at all. Right. So I get enrolled and stuff, and as fucked up as it is, dude, like, I'm going to these classes and I think I'm doing well, but between classes, I'm going out to my car. And I was going to class with a light bulb with meth in it in my backpack. In between classes, I'm going out to the car and just firing it up, getting it hot, rolling it, getting a couple of hits off of it, and going back to class. And I'm like, still thinking I'm doing good because I'm in college. Like, I always found a way to justify my fuck ups.
Yeah.
And
I think a lot of people do that.
They do. In the way, you were talking about, like, you smoked weed before, this and that.
Yeah.
That was never my thing.
Yeah.
I fucking hated weed. I hate it to this day because I was more of I want to do shit and be productive. You know what I mean? I want to be stimulated. I want to go out and do things. I don't want to sit here and be fucking stoned. And
so I've always been in a good mental state for as long. You know me, I'm a pretty even keeled guy. Like, I'm always in a pretty good mood.
Sure. So,
like, my drugs of choice, whether you call it alcohol or weed, it was always in the evening when we were hanging out, kind of thing. It was never like, I had never wanted to do a drug or drink alcohol like at the day at the house.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just, I'm off today.
Let's get fucked up.
Let's kill a bottle of Tito's. No, it's not that.
Yeah.
It's all social for me. So, yeah, I know people who smoke weed all day long and just, like, they don't want to get off the couch. Like, they just wake and bake, and that's what they do. Mm-hmm. It's never me.
Right. Well,
so I don't understand it.
The thing is, it's like, there's two sides to it. So the meth thing, I knew I could quit. I just didn't want to. And the way I look at people who are dependent on drugs, you're either mentally dependent on it or you're physically dependent on it.
So, okay. So that's where I have a question.
Okay.
Because you obviously quit. And I know a lot of people who are like, they're like, it is almost impossible to
To quit what?
meth.
They don't want to quit.
That's kind of the way I feel, but I'm being an asshole because I've never done it.
No, you're not. I mean, it's the way. So
Because like, I was addicted to cigarettes, right? That was probably, nicotine was probably the
it's a
hardest.
physical dependence.
I was, but like, I told Wes, because Wes quit nicotine recently.
Right.
I was like, it's about a 3 or 4 day physical thing. And then after that, it's all mental.
It's mental.
And because I remember just being foggy. Like to this day, I remember sitting on the back porch with Karen because that's where we used to smoke cigarettes, and just wall, just everything's a blur.
Yeah.
And that's
And you know
physical.
what makes it go away? Just smoke a fucking cigarette.
Yeah.
And that's what makes quitting things that you have a physical dependence to, whether it be nicotine, whether it be alcohol, whether it be opiates, whether it be benzos. Your body has a physical chemical reaction to this stuff.
Right.
And when you take that stuff away from your body is like, dude, what the fuck?
Right.
Give it to me.
So do people get sick when they don't have meth?
I never did, and I never heard of anybody that did get physically sick. That's why people who say, I just can't quit snorting coke, I'm like, then you're fucking weak-minded and you don't want to quit.
At the end of the day, it's a choice, right?
With those things, absolutely.
Yeah. So like with me, I think it's harder, and God forbid, I'm going to get some hate on this one. Like it's almost harder to quit chocolate because it's like acceptable.
Well, do you know carbs they load them. It's an addiction.
Right, but
sugar is a fucking addiction, dude.
So, but it's acceptable. Like if
why? Because you can go to the store and buy it.
That's why I think it makes it harder because like if I walk in today, like if I walk into the office with fucking Hershey Kisses and sit in my office, I mean people might be like, God damn, you're killing those Hershey Kisses.
Fucking
but
fat
if I walk
ass.
in, if I walk in with meth, they're like,
who wants a hit? Yeah.
What the fuck? So you know, and like alcohol is socially acceptable. I think that's why you have a lot of alcoholics who have a problem with it. But you can't just like openly walk around with meth. And
the thing is with alcohol and things of that nature, they're so accessible.
Yeah.
You can just go to the fucking corner store and get it.
Right.
Like for people who are addicted to hardcore drugs or pills or whatever, if you could just go to the damn corner store and be like, yeah, can I get 10 Lorsets? Like, dude,
Right.
it would be a fucking epidemic. It would be horrible.
So that's why last year I went no sugar for 10 months. And when I say no sugar, I went no fucking sugar.
I'm a month in on it right now.
I went no fucking sugar, and it pissed Karen off to the T. Like, because Karen was just like, and I say pissed her off. She was just like, you know, on my birthday, she was like, you can have a piece of cake. I was like, nope.
No.
Like, I just fucking cold turkey that shit.
Bro.
And said, fuck you. I ain't having a piece.
Why do they do that shit?
Dude, they're just like, you can have a piece. Moderation. I'm going, but that's the thing.
There's no gray area.
I have no moderation. And so I had to quit for 10 months. I did it from January 3rd to like into November. And then it was like the holidays. And I said, okay, I'm going to see if I can have a healthy relationship with this shit.
Can you?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm starting to have like
That's good.
Weekly. Like I can have it in week, but I catch myself going, fuck, I just killed these Hershey Kisses.
But you had to do that to change your relationship with it.
And prove to myself
that you could do it.
that I was stronger than
Like,
the addiction.
I'm a month in on it. You know, I'm just eating clean and no refined sugars and things like that. And like last night, we're laying in bed. She's like, I really want some Dairy Queen. I said, hey, will you go get me some?
Dairy Queen.
I said, will you get me a couple of just the hamburger patties? You know, because I don't eat any carbs at a certain amount of time of day. Anyway, just get a Blizzard. You know you want one. I'm like, no, I fucking don't want a Blizzard. I do actually.
Yeah.
I want the biggest Blizzard they have, but I can't. I said I don't need 1,700 calories of just sugar right now.
Oh yeah, that's Karen, because Karen, you know, obviously.
So it's not just mine.
Yeah,
Cool.
it's fucking
Awesome. They're all fucked up.
Yeah,
All
fucking
right.
skinny as shit.
Yeah.
Fucking.
Oh yeah.
Fucking.
I
You
eat
know,
what I
like,
want.
you know, you want a Blizzard. Yeah, fuck.
Yeah, I do.
I want a Blizzard.
Thanks for being supportive.
Yeah,
Motherfuckers.
And she was just like, oh, man, she'll do all the time. Ooh, you sure you don't want an ice cream? Yeah, I do want an ice cream. I'm trying to, but it got to the point to where I just had to keep saying no, no, no.
Yeah.
And I guess it was, in the long run, it was beneficial for me because, you know, I had to say no to peer pressure.
Yes.
And it's like, damn, it's like, Jesus Christ, can a motherfucker not eat sugar? You know, is this okay?
They don't understand it.
Yeah,
Yeah, see,
like-
you have that's an addiction for you, whether it be sugar or fucking speed. It doesn't matter. That's something that you have a hard time
Right.
saying no to.
Right.
And so, you know, kind of back to what we were talking about. So I knew, okay, I'm not going to graduate college. I dropped out.
Yeah.
I was like, this is not for me. This is not.
Yeah.
And I remember the girl I was dating, she moved back home.
Mm-hmm.
And I came down here at the end of May 2005 to visit for a weekend.
Right.
Came down to Orange, met her parents. I'm still fucking here.
Yeah.
I never left. Almost 20 years later, I'm still here. And I ended up moving in with her and her folks. And her dad, he owned a company, and he put me to work. And I was doing good.
Mm-hmm.
We weren't really fucking off. We weren't doing drugs. And the thing is, me and her did them together, right?
Yeah.
And it was a very toxic relationship. We were wired about the same. You know, she was a scholar, very smart person, made horrible fucking decisions. So did I, and it was a bad situation. And but we were doing good. We were clean. We were both working. It was good. And I remember it was 4th of July 2005 before Rita hit. We met up with some people, and we got a couple of Lorsets, green beans, pain pills. Never taken them before. Never take. She's like, let's take a couple, go watch the fireworks. All right, fuck it. How many? Take half of one? Just take 2 of them. Pop 2 of them. Like 30 minutes later, my stomach started hurting. I was like, what the fuck? I mean, I feel okay, but my stomach kind of hurts. Dude, it was fucking downhill from there. I thought leaving Nacogdoches was the answer.
Yeah.
Coming down here, it got 10 fucking times worse. I just substituted with a different vice.
A different vice.
So I went from doing and selling meth to doing and selling pills and coke and whatever I could get my fucking hands on. And it got to the point, like, I don't know if you've seen any of the documentaries on Netflix and Prime and whatnot, you know, the whole opioid epidemic from the 2000s all the way to like 2010. I was a fucking part of it. And, you know, they had some clinics around here. They had one in Orange, they had one in Beaumont. And it really started from some people, once we really got into it and started buying pills from people, like, you get a physical dependence to it. Because opioids it's just a synthetic form of heroin. It reacts the same in your body as if you fucking fire off around heroin.
Yeah, I've worked with some peoples with opioid addiction, and it's like, to me, like, that's a thing.
It's
dude.
a different fucking animal, dude.
Yeah, and like, when I had my wisdom teeth out, they gave me whatever they give you, some kind of major pain medicine, and I couldn't for the life of me understand why people got addicted to it. But I was in severe pain, and when the pain went away, and I would take it as regulated. I was so scared of it because sober me has seen people like just fuck up entire lives. And so it's like, nope, because the pain pills would kill my pain for 2 hours, but it said take it every 4. So I was like, I'm going to fucking suffer for the next 2.
Yeah.
And then it got to where my pain started to subside. And then like the last 1 or 2, I was just like,
Did you take them?
Yeah. Well, because I was just on a schedule. I was so scared of hurting.
Did you need them?
I don't think I did.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is why people get addicted. Like, it was the last 1 or 2 that I was like, oh, this feels like you've had 3 Tito's and sodas.
Feels like you're slipping into a warm bath.
Yeah, it's just...
That's how I best describe it.
Yeah, and I was like, that's
it.
Sick.
That is. And see, the things that they're prescribing now aren't as strong as what they were prescribing back then. The company that made the medication that we used to get, Watson, they made the medicine, and they were since bought out twice over. They're defunct. They're not even a company anymore. So the people we were buying pills from, and you got to think, it's me and another addict. So we're buying, it started 10 at a time, 20 at a time, 30, 40, when our addiction got worse. So I remember the first time they're like, hey, instead of just buying them from me, I'll pay for your visit to go to the doctor. You get your script. I'll give you 20 out of them, and I'll give you, 20 somas and 10 bricks, Xanaxes, and you don't have to buy them from me. So I started going to the doctor for people. We'd do that, save our money. And once I kind of figured out how it all went, I was like, fuck, I can do this myself. But I was still working. I'm like, no, I gotta keep a job.
Yeah.
At this time, I was driving an 18-wheeler for a beverage company in Beaumont. And I was taking pills, but I was a functioning addict. Now with pills, it's not like meth.
Yeah.
You can't see it on people
Until they get real bad.
until they're real fucking bad. Now, it got to the point, dude, I lost my job for stealing money to support our habit.
See, that's another thing I've
Yeah.
heard. I've heard that it'll make you steal from yourself.
Bro, well, I can tell you this, never stolen from an individual.
Yeah.
It doesn't justify the things I've done,
Yeah.
but that's how I looked at it. That's my fucked up mind. I'm like, I'm not taking from a person. You know, it's still fucking wrong.
But so like the guy that I talked to not too long ago, I had lunch with him and he was like, man, pills would make you steal from yourself. You'd find yourself grabbing and like in your own house and like putting it in your pocket and stealing. I'm like, the fuck?
Dude.
And like, that it's so foreign to me, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, are you serious? He's like, oh yeah. He's like, it's bad. Like you'll steal from yourself.
Once you're on it,
And he's like, imagine what they do to other people.
it's cutthroat, man. So it got to the point where when I lost my job, it was like, you know what? I'm about to do this full time. So it had to be 07, 08-ish.
Mm-hmm.
I started going to Houston full time, 5 days a week.
It's different doctors.
I would hit different doctors every day. I had my iPhone 3, calendar, and it was like, you're going to go to this doctor on West Belfort, and they're going to go to this pharmacy over on, whatever, Dimension Pharmacy or whatever. You're going to go over here.
Because there
you're gonna
wasn't
get your
like a
script.
natural.
They didn't have the
database
database at the time to where you could get crossed up. Now, the only way you could get crossed up if you went to this same fucking pharmacy
Every
with a
time.
different doctor, and they're like, no,
Yeah.
They knew the game. They knew what was going on. I was organized with it. I had all my stuff. You go to this doctor on this day. You go to this pharmacy on this day. To tell you how corrupt the whole system was, there was times that I would go in, and I was such a regular at these places. I was going every month to every one of them. I wouldn't even see the fucking doctor, dude. I'd pay my money. The guy behind the counter says, hey, we went ahead and faxed your script over. You can go pick it up. Cool. See you next month. And I'd go get my shit. I'd answer my phone calls on the way home. Now, how bad I wasn't doing this to make money. I was doing this to pay bills and to support my habit and to support her habit at the time.
Right.
I'm not going to lie to you. For a 5-year span, I was taking 25 Lorceps a day, every day.
See, I've heard some ridiculous amounts like that.
I mean, Walter, I'm telling you, withdrawals would kick in after about 2 to 3 hours. So I'd wake up in the morning, pop 3 or 4 of them, and then I would take 2 of them every 2 to 3 hours until I went to bed that night.
So, in your opinion, opioids are
It's the motherfucker.
way worse than meth.
It ain't even close. If somebody comes to me and says, I've got a problem.
Mm-hmm.
I've been taking pain pills religiously for 10 years. I can't fucking stop. Hey, I got you. I know.
So all of this is, a former life of yours.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I've told my close friends, it's hard for them to see because that was an old me.
Right. So what made you stop?
So,
Or what made you stop and how did you
this
stop?
is funny. So, me and the other girl, we split up. She almost died.
Mhm.
She overdosed. She almost died. Probably should have.
Yeah.
She's doing well now. I'm happy for her. Married. I started dating this girl I was selling drugs to. And I really liked her. She was awesome,
Mm-hmm.
And we really hit it off. And I was like, this is the fucking one. This is the one.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, dude, I still wanted that. I was like, all right, I'm like 28 now. It's time. You can't do this forever, dude.
Yeah.
I always wanted the family, the kids, the white picket fence bullshit,
Right.
I'm like, this is the one, So she was going through a divorce, and I was just a complete fucking mess,
Mm-hmm.
And in her court proceedings, I remember I was at a fucking pharmacy on Mercury Drive in Houston one day on the east side.
Mm-hmm.
And it was Mercury Pharmacy. And she calls me and she said, "Hey, we just had court, and it was brought up in court that I was having an affair with a well-known Beaumont drug dealer. Yours truly. My attorney said, if you're going to make this work with him, he has to stop." And that was the last time I ever went to Houston.
Really?
It was the last time.
So a girl basically...
Girl fucked it up from the beginning. Girl fixed it at the end.
Wow.
So I came to the conclusion, dude, I'm like, Travis, you're never going to have anything in life if you're using.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
You can't do both. And the way we were doing it was so fucking extreme. It wasn't like, oh, I'll take one in the morning and one at night.
Yeah, no.
Dude, when I say 25, I mean 20 fucking 5.
Yeah. I mean, I've heard the stories, man.
It's fucked up.
Yeah, so like, I mean, it's crazy that one person made you stop. But it was basically at the end of the day, like with me and cigarettes, I gotta relate it to something that I know. Cigarettes, like my brother-in-law told me, he was like, when you're ready to stop, you'll stop. Because I tried quitting a couple times and it just was like no bueno. And then it was just one day I was like, I'm tired of getting in the elevator smelling like cigarettes.
Yeah.
And it was just lights out. I was like, I'm kicking this habit. And thankfully Karen was like, you know what? I'm with you. And we both did, because that would have been tough.
Absolutely.
And but yeah, like just to make the switch like that, because these are drugs that people never get off of.
It was. So what it boiled down to, dude, was...
And you never had to take Suboxone? Or?
I did. I took Suboxone. I ran out, so I re-detoxed. Yeah. I can tell you right now, detoxing off of that was the worst thing, the worst experience I've ever gone through in my entire life. When you say, imagine the worst flu you've ever had times 10.
Oh, I've heard it.
So you're laying in bed, cold sweats, constantly in the bathroom shitting on yourself. Your mom was always restless leg going through it, and it would literally feel like my bones were coming through my skin. Damn. And the hard part about quitting it, dude, was the fact that they were so prevalent back then. You could find them anywhere. Just give me one. Just give me one. Let me calm this down, dude. It was so fucked up. I'm like, I'm gonna go get a bunch of meth and get fucking strung out for 3 days. Because it's really like 3 to 4 days of hardcore physical withdrawals, and then it's the mental shit. I'm like, I'm just going to get fucking strung out for 3 or 4 days. Then I'll be fine. That's how fucked off I was. I'm like, I have to figure out a way to do this.
Yeah.
So I remember I got clean, and I was like, I'm going to go get a job. And I went to work at the beer company, and they called me, and my drug screen, I'd been clean for 4 days. How I passed that test, which opiates, it's 72 hours, you know. Yeah. And I went to work, and I was like, I'm going to have this life.
See, people ask me often, because people like who don't know me think I drink a lot. Yeah. And they're like, can you ever just go without drinking? Like if you go to Dylan's, I was like, yeah. I was like, when I got out of the hospital with COVID, you know, I was on some major blood thinners, and they were like, hey, you don't need to drink. Like these blood thinners are serious, and alcohol thins your blood even more.
Absolutely. So
I'd go to Dylan's, and I was the DD.
Yeah,
because I would go. I just want to hang out, and so it's crazy. Like people like will throw around, you're addicted to this, but they don't really know addiction.
They don't
until you hit like opioids, and I've seen it from the outside looking in of people I know who are addicted to pills. And I say pills are way worse than anything on this planet.
It's not even close.
And so how, like, my fear, and this is the way I teach Alexis, because I think that's my biggest fear is, like, I want to keep my kids off of it, right? And the only thing I know to do is show Alexis, like, hey, you see him? You don't have a car. You know why? Pills. And it's like that's the only thing I know to do. And it's like just don't ever start once.
You have to... I walk a fine line with it. I don't want to shelter mine to the point to where, yes, I preach, and I'm a firm believer, you're only as good as the people you run with.
Oh,
and you know, that's the old cliche, you know, birds of a feather flock together. That's the fucking truth, dude.
If you go hang out at Mick's place a little while, you're eventually going to get your fucking haircut.
There you go.
And I agree with that.
It's true.
Like it is. And that's why, like I try to like I'll tell my daughter now, like I even give my daughter sips of alcohol now, stuff that I know, like, hey, this is something that you can control, right? You know, it's like, you know, like these are acceptable norms. This pills and meth and shit, because nowadays
It's fentanyl now.
yeah, nowadays one fuck up,
You're dead.
you're dead.
Dead. Yeah.
Like you're not coming back.
Nope.
And you know, I watched people, you know, we lost a couple people in high school from like pill overdose.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, it's like that's my biggest thing is like trying to, like, how do you teach your daughter? And it's like, I just show her. I show her, like, you know, and I show her the realities of it. Like, this person doesn't have a car because spent all their money on this. Like, do you like going to the store and being able to buy whatever or this so and so, and like
That's kind of how I was raised, and that's why I said at the beginning of this, I had no reason to fall into that world I fell into. And the way I look at it, kids are going to fuck up.
yeah,
Just don't fuck up bad enough that it's something that's going to either kill you or follow you around for the rest of your life.
yeah. But it's like I remember, like me growing up, there was never any want to do any hard drugs.
Yeah.
Like, and I guess I wasn't around people who did hard
That
drugs.
was the thing.
I mean, I knew of people who did hard drugs, like pills and stuff, like in school, but I always looked at them like, fuck, man. And then especially when one of them dies, it's just like, well, man,
Yeah.
you know, I always had the level head on my shoulders. But like, you know, like me and Dave, we were just like, we'll drink our alcohol and like, we're good.
Yeah.
And I mean, you know, the person who probably got me to smoke weed the first time, you know, and it's like, and you know, I probably in my lifetime I've probably smoked weed 20 times, which is like,
Do you like it?
I really
either.
don't.
Yeah.
Like I've had some difficulties in life, like everybody has, and like I used to like it, or I thought I liked it, to go to sleep, like right before bed, kind of thing. But I mean, even then, like I just remember one time I was with my father-in-law, and we were like out in the garage, and was with a few people who watch this podcast, and we're all out in the garage, and we're just smoking weed, and man, the high got to where like. There was 2 times I got high that I really didn't like it. One of the first times I smoked it as an adult, I just remember like just freaking out because it kept climbing, and I was like,
You got stoned.
yeah, this is just not
That's
cool.
not fun.
This is not cool. And then when we was all in the garage, my father-in-law and stuff, my father-in-law's funny because he'll, you know, he's pushing, he's in his 70s. He does it more for pain management at the end of the day, you know, to go to sleep.
Yeah.
But he'll get to where he'll go, what's my name? And he'll just like hit his head because he don't remember his name.
Yeah.
And but like we were all in the garage, and I just remember like, oh, it was fun. And then I was like, how much time has passed? It felt like 3 hours. It was like 10 minutes.
It's Thursday. Yeah. Like you're like, what the fuck?
And then like I went inside, and I remember telling a guy, I was like, man, like this high won't stop. I'm done. Like, and he's like, I'll drink milk. And I'm like, milk? And dude, I was like, I'll try it. Like this has to stop.
Yeah.
Like it just like you go from normal to, and you're climbing.
Yeah.
Real quick, and it keeps climbing. It's like with alcohol, I know, all right, I'm buzzed. I need to stop.
Yeah, but you can control it. Like, that's the thing.
Yeah.
If you don't have to have something and you're like, yeah, I could go. Like with me with alcohol, I may drink once or twice a month.
Yeah.
It was never an issue for me.
Yeah.
Now, other things, that's a fucking problem.
Yeah.
Like, so with weed, did you ever try tabs or anything like that?
No. Dude, I'm telling you, the hardest drug
That's
I've
another different fucking animal.
Yeah.
Oh,
Listen,
that's different.
I dated a girl, and I was around it. I dated a girl, and I'm not going to say when because it would.
It would incriminate someone.
It laid out. But her brother was real bad with, you know, like tabs, I guess.
Uh-huh.
And I remember like we were driving, and I was driving in my truck, and he was in the back seat with somebody, and we stopped at the convenience store, and he's drinking orange juice and getting somebody to blow Vicks in his eyes.
He's fucked up.
And I was like, and we were going to whatever that place is on 11th Street, the little hangout room or like jam. There was a jam room or
I
something.
don't know. I probably wasn't living here at the time. I don't know.
Oh, dude, it was something. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like, I don't want to be around this. And it was just like, I was like, not me. Like, that's all they cared about was like, blow Vicks in my eyes, dude. And I was like, what the
You see guys wearing the goggles that had the strobe lights going on in them, and they're just fucking rolling balls. That was me. Like, First time I took it, I took a double stack Blue Dolphins at a club in Houston one night, and I was fucked. I'm in there drinking water. They're like, "Dude, you got to stop. They're gonna kick us the fuck out of here." I was tripping.
So, like, I can understand, like, in your 20s or whatever, like, I can understand that. But, like, you know, there's guys in their 40s, like, rolling balls and shit. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing with your life,
Well,
man?
at that point, they missed their window.
Because they've done it for
They
20
missed
years.
it. They missed it. That's why I got out. So when me and this girl got together, I got married. We got fucking married. I was working.
I didn't know
I was
that.
living in Nederland. Like I was like, this is fucking great. I'm clean. She's clean. I thought she wasn't. She starts doing bath salts and shit. Different girl.
Yeah.
No names mentioned.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't want to be around this. She kicks me out because it's her house. So I'm, for about a month and a half time span, I'm living at a hotel in Beaumont. And I'm sober,
Yeah.
mind you. But I literally had to start completely over. I'm 29 years old. I have a job, driving a truck. I'm living in a hotel, extended stay Super 8 thing over like MLK, I-10 area over there, like north end of Beaumont.
Mm-hmm.
All I had was a TV and a bag of clothes.
Damn.
That's all I had. Nothing. And, you know, you spend enough nights by yourself in situations like that, kind of brings things into perspective. And I looked at it kind of like I'm kind of fortunate because, dude, the situations I've been in life, I should either be dead or in prison. Not where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
So I've been given a lot of mulligans in life. And that's why I really quit. Because I'm like, dude, you're not going to have anything. There's 3 options out of this. 3. Prison, death, or get your shit together. Suck it up, man up, and just do it.
So is there any fear of slipping back?
No, there's not. There's not. I think I'm at a point in life now.
And I can understand that.
I'm at a point in life now, like,
It's just not.
it's not
You don't
it's not
want it.
conducive to my lifestyle. It's just not. And you know, I got kids and shit. I'm married. You know my situation. You know, I'm running a business now. I don't have time for that
So,
shit.
like, I feel that way with cigarettes. Like, people are always like, "Oh, is there?" I'm like, "Nope. I don't like the shit. Like, I really don't like." Now,
You're strong because you could just fucking go get it right now. That's
yeah.
what's so different.
But I don't want it.
Yeah.
Like, there's no desire. Now, Karen, on the other hand, like, you could tell, like, she's gotten back into vaping. And, but you could tell she was like,
Those things taste good. I ain't gonna lie.
But she was like, I like the smell of cigarette. Like, she'd be like, "Oh, somebody's smoking." And I
Who
was like,
likes the smell of
like
cigarettes?
smelling somebody smoking. And
Are you
she's like,
serious?
dude? Like, it's like you said, like when you're salivating.
That's
like,
fucking filthy.
dude. And I understand that from a smoker. Like, I understand where she's coming from.
Yeah.
And so I was like, if we're not careful, she's going to go back. And this is something I don't want for her. Right. And like, there was times where, like, you know, she went and bought a pack of cigarettes and I was just like, this is unacceptable. I know it's cigarettes, but I was hard on her.
Still, man.
I was like, "Man, you're not going back."
Yeah.
I'll just, and so, she went into vaping. And it's just because it's so socially acceptable.
You trade one thing for another and you justify it. Whether it's socially acceptable or not, I feel like we all have our vices. We're all addicted to, like right now, I just want to work and try to eat right and go to the gym and do things right. I'm 42. I just want to be healthy, and
Right.
I have done enough damage to my body that I'm surprised things are still working.
Well, we're getting to the age where we start seeing other people have
dude,
real health problems,
yeah,
and it's
and
like, man, I want to be.
A lot of people didn't have the opportunity to get out and make it right. A lot of people died doing what I was doing. Like I said, I should have been dead. I've had people come threaten to kill me if I sold to their loved ones before. Like, old men coming to my house with guns and shit. Like, shouldn't be here.
So the people who are addicted, like, what is something other than just a sheer they want to, they have to want it?
The problem with people who are addicted to things like opioids, they're typically surrounded by a support group of people who have never been in those shoes before. So it's like you, for example, I'm addicted to cigarettes. Imagine me who never smoked
it's like,
coming to
fucking
you
quit.
just saying, just fucking quit. And that's the problem. And all that does with people in those situations is just pushes them way further.
Yeah, so
It
like
really
I've had
does.
people come to me and ask for help over the years, just in the position that I'm in. You know, they come and ask for help to get off of whatever drug the
Sure.
drug of choice is, and it's just like I can't be empathetic. Like, and so I'm the wrong person. I'll just send them away, and it's not because I'm a dick. It's just like I have no like because
You,
me and
you can't relate.
I'm like just fucking stop.
Doesn't work that way.
And I know it doesn't work that way. And it's like I see 40-something-year-olds with their lives all fucked up. And the only thing I can tell them is like the people that I'm semi-close with is like, man, you're running with the wrong people and you know you're not. You know you are. And like that, at the end of the day, I know that.
Yes.
I know that like you're going to have to completely change your friend group. And I mean, it would be, it's hard to, you know, it'd be hard for me to keep the same friend group if I wasn't supposed to drink alcohol or whatever.
Yeah.
It'd be like working in a fucking chocolate factory, not wanting chocolate. Like it's not going to fucking happen.
Hershey, Pennsylvania.
Yeah. It's not going to happen.
You have to, like I said, it's the people you run with. So when I was using, I have zero contact with any of those people. You know, I was so fucked up. I don't remember most of their names. I don't. I know faces. I'd see, if I saw their face today, I'd recognize them.
Yeah.
But I cut ties with everyone. I had to start my life completely over from scratch when I was in a hotel room saying, all right, what are you going to do? Okay, first step. Let's save up enough money, get an apartment. Okay. Try to do something productive with your life. Got a gym membership. I was working, had my own place, and slowly in steps got myself out of that rut. And that's when I met Leah. I mean, I met her at Dillon's during work.
Yeah.
She was the manager. I was the beer guy. And
so that's one thing I've done with, I say addiction, but like, you know, I quit. And I tell people like, because people ask me for like health advice as far as food or shit like that. And I'm sure you're
we can have another.
Yeah, we can have
another discussion about this. Give me about 8 months. I'll come back and we'll talk again.
And it's like, okay, well, you know, they're like, well, I just need to cut out everything. I'm like, stop.
No,
you're not going to do it. Like, they're like, I stopped doing sugar in like drinks and sweet tea and stuff like that when I did keto. I love sugar in my coffee. Well, then I was like, hey, I'm going to do keto. And I learned to like sweet and low. And then I learned to like sweet and low and unsweet tea and going to the restaurant and ordering unsweet tea. And then I learned like the sparkling ice drinks that I drink. It was just like, okay, I'm going to take this bad habit. I'm going to replace it with this.
That's all it is.
Tackle one thing at a time.
It's not hard.
It's like these people who are like, I'm going to cut carbs. I'm going to take all this out. Then I'm going to take all. I'm like, dude, you're setting yourself up.
It's not sustainable.
It's going to fuck your world
It's
up.
not. You know how I know? Because I fucking did it.
Yeah,
and you'll drop weight fast, but you can't. The easiest thing to do, man, cut out refined sugars. Don't cut out carbs. Just don't eat complex carbs.
Yeah.
Eat your oats. Eat your brown rice. Eat the things that are lower on the glycemic index that are going to work better in your body. Just make smart choices.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. I mean, people are addicted to shit. Food. That's why I say shop the perimeter of the store. All the bad shit's in the middle.
Yeah.
If it's in a fucking box, it's probably not good for you.
Yeah. So with meth, I'm sure.
You go from oats
Well,
to
because well,
so back to the ice.
well, back to the ice. Yeah. No, like, so I know of people who like will substitute caffeine, and I guess that's a better alternative. And I guess if you got to do that, that's got, you know, like coffee all day. They'll drink coffee all day long, and that's a lot of caffeine.
I drink 2 energy drinks a day.
2. That's 600 milligrams of caffeine.
Depends on what you get.
Well,
Mine is
I know somebody
360 milligrams a day.
Oh, that
I get like a Monster Ultra or something. There's
I
like
know
160
I know
each one.
somebody who's drinking 300 milligrams in a can and doing 6 to 8 a day, and had the same complications that meth did.
Fucking heart complications.
Mental.
Yeah. It's not
for
it's not good.
staying up.
And I'm trying to cut that out.
Yeah,
because I know long term
Eventually.
it's not good for you.
Yeah.
The thing is, people who are addicted to certain things, that's a mental thing. if you want to quit drinking caffeine, you may have a headache. It's going to be minimal. Just or substitute it for some coffee or something, whatever. Don't drink 16 of them a fucking day.
Yeah.
In moderation, right? Drink it in the morning, get up going. People who are addicted to fucking opioids and things like that, I have sympathy for them.
Yeah.
100%.
Oh,
I've been there, and I know you can't just quit.
Yeah.
You can't, because
you would think with all the technology now that we can start prescribing shit.
I mean, you
that's
get
not
Suboxone, but I mean, then you're hooked on that shit.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, you would think with all the technology, we can come up with some painkillers that are not fucking
people say
like life destroying addiction.
Oh,
like,
dude, I'm gonna tell you, if they came up with some painkillers that you didn't get addicted to, you gonna have a bigger fucking problem on your hands.
Well, I mean, like,
I'm just saying.
These people, how many times do you hear people getting a knee injury or back injury, and the next thing you know, they're fucking strung out on fucking pills?
They are. It happens all the time. The thing is, people tend to justify it. They're like, "Oh, it's a prescription, so it's fine."
Yeah, right. And I'm not talking about meth heads living in a crack house. I'm talking about CEOs, fucking nurses, getting addicted to this shit so quick because it takes one little thing, and then all of a sudden they're like, "Oh, well, my back's going to hurt if I don't take this." It starts out as a legitimate back injury.
But when your back's not hurting and you're still fucking taking them, you got a problem, bub.
Yep.
That's what happens.
And then
you have no idea.
And the mental, a lot of people in America don't have a mental strength to quit shit that's hard.
I did.
And, right.
You have to, though. You have to look at the big picture.
I would say you're one of the outliers, because of the people I know that they can't quit that shit.
They can't quit because the thing is, they don't want to deal with the physical withdrawals of it, because it is a fucking nightmare.
Yeah, and I know that sucks. And I can only imagine.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
It's horrible. And and I'm telling you, dude, it's not just, so you deal with your physical withdrawals. It's the mental shit. Dude, I'm going to tell you right now, I wasn't right for about a year. Like with the mental side of things. That's what I'm saying. I'm at a point in my life right now, if I went to the doctor and they're like, "We're going to give you some Tylenol 4s for your back." Cool. No big deal.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have that urge to go fucking hunt down somebody in, Winnie or something and go spend $500 on some fucking pills. I don't have that urge anymore. Some people, they don't have the willpower. They don't have the support.
Right.
They're not talking to the right fucking people.
Yeah.
And they have to be real with themselves.
Yeah, because you uprooted your whole life, basically.
More than once.
Yeah. So
it's not easy. But the thing is, I had to look at the whole thing and say, hey, are you going to be somebody one day, or are you just going to be another statistic? And I didn't want that. Like,
right.
and looking back at it, I'm glad, I told you my dad passed in 2012. I'm just glad he got to see me sober before he passed.
Yeah.
He got to see the good me. Now, I wish he was still here to see where I'm at now.
And he never had any
addictions,
zero, stuff like that.
So he couldn't relate to me. I couldn't talk to my parents about it. The only people I could talk to were other people fucking using. Like I was fucked.
Yeah.
And it really boiled down to, what do you want out of life? If you want a family and you want this and you want that, you can't do this.
Yeah, and I try not to be judgmental, man. I really do try to not to be judgmental of people who like have problems with this, because I know how bad it pisses me off when people call me an alcoholic or something. Like, and people don't understand why it pisses me off, but my dad had alcoholism.
So you've seen it firsthand.
Yeah, it killed him at the ripe old age of 49.
Yeah.
And what alcoholism really is hiding Budweisers in your boots in the morning so that your wife doesn't find them, so that at 4:30 when you wake up to go to the store, you had beer.
Yeah.
And then you go, my dad owned a meat market that sold beer and stuff. Then you've got fucking
well,
beer.
Y'all own Durham's, right?
Right.
I used to deliver down there.
So you had beer all there, right?
Yeah.
And that's alcoholism.
Absolutely.
That my dad was so fucked up at one point, and I've heard this from my uncles, is that like he got out of the hospital because he would drink and not eat, right?
Yeah.
And he would be drinking a Diet Coke and be like, "Man, this beer does taste good," and it'd be Diet fucking Coke. Like, I mean, that's how much fuck. So like, there's
a fucking distinct difference.
There's a distinct difference
Yeah.
from being a drinker,
Yeah.
and being an alcoholic. Just like there's people who can smoke weed and be fine with it. There's people who can't go fucking 4 hours without having it. And there's a big difference with people who are addicted to pills. Like I understand
Alcohol is just as bad.
Oh yeah, because it's more accepted.
That's what I was going to ask you. Well, not necessarily that, but as far as like the quitting, once you get to that point, like if I asked you, said, "Hey, do you get sick when you don't have it?"
Nope.
Then you don't have a fucking problem.
No, that's what.
Now it could turn into a problem one day.
Yeah, but like
if you let it.
Right, like people like I mean, I had this conversation the other day with somebody who was like, "Oh, you're an alcoholic," and I was like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
Yeah. Well, that hits with you though.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Yeah,
and he was like, "Well, do you drink during the week?" And I go, "On Wednesdays sometimes." And I said, "On sometimes if I'm doing something on a Monday or doing sometimes, yeah." And well, that's alcoholism. I go, "No." I was like, "There's some people who work the weekend, so the only days they get off, and like that doesn't define alcoholism."
No, it doesn't. And
they're like, "Oh no, it's a form of." I'm like, I go, you know, we like to go to music bingo on Wednesdays, and like. And that's dinner and drinks with the family. Like that's our date night for me and my. So because my father-in-law, because he was a big drinker, he does not drink during the week, but he will drink whatever he wants during the weekend, and he did that to himself. That was his way of moderating it.
Yeah.
And so like he could come down here, visit us on a Wednesday. We go out to Will House. He's not going to drink because that's how he's
got the mental strength to
moderation.
do that.
Yeah. But me, I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah.
And so it's like, yeah, I'm a drinker. I like to drink. And I guess, it's funny. Bert Kreischer, I think, he leans into it. And I'm like, you know what? That's me.
He's got a fucking problem.
But it's like, I'm going to leave. I'm a drinker. I like alcohol. Everybody's got their vices.
I do too. I mean, I like alcohol.
Everybody's got their vices. But like, it's just like, I can go anywhere, not want it. And there's days like if I drink on a Wednesday, on Thursday, like I could have 3. Like a lot of times I was going to Dillon's, my bar tab was $18.
You're better than me because I don't think I could do that.
Yeah.
If you hollered at me on a Wednesday, the guys, hey, y'all want to go out here? We're hanging out on Wednesday. Say I'm off on Thursday or something. I'm not going to go out there without the intention of drinking.
Yeah.
I'm going to because I know I can go a month after that without doing it. Maybe. The fact that you're not working your schedule, your daily schedule, breakfast, lunch, dinner, around
alcohol
when you're going to drink,
yeah,
it's not a fucking problem.
Yeah, we used to do Thirsty Thursdays before we did, Will House. I've never missed coming to this office on a Friday because I was hungover. Ever.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever missed work hungover. So it's like, man, and addiction is a real thing.
Absolutely.
And like, I hate when it's kind of like racism, right? If everything's racist, then you just water down the real racist shit. And so it's like when you say if you just calling everybody an addict, then you don't know like what some people are dealing with. And listen, I've met people over the years who probably think I'm a fucking asshole. I don't understand them when it comes to their addiction. I don't understand them.
Yeah.
But I do. I understand that it's a real thing and that they're battling it. And I'm just not the right person to
You're
talk
not the
to.
right one to talk to.
I'm
Never been there.
I'm not the right person
And
to talk
that's
to.
the thing. I would talk to anybody. If anybody out there, had any questions or anything, I'll talk to whoever if they're having problems with it. Because they're more apt to listen to someone who's been through it.
Yep.
Because we can relate.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So when I'm saying, hey, I went through this, and this, just like you're going through this, have you tried this to handle it? And, let's try some steps to get out of this.
Yeah.
Somebody who's never been in those shoes, they're going to look at you and just be, shut the fuck up. You don't know what you're talking about. You have no clue.
Yeah.
And I've seen it, I mean, I don't know. I never went to rehab.
Mm-hmm.
I always felt I didn't need it. And I fought those demons myself and I came out on the other side of it. A lot of people need more help than that. I understand that. And it wasn't because I wasn't doing it as hardcore because, I mean, if you multiplied how many pills I've taken in my life, it's amazing. My fucking
liver still works.
My liver's still functioning.
So, and that's a whole nother episode of how fucked up the system is. Just how expensive rehab is.
Oh, dude.
It's so fucked up. It's so fucked.
It's
up.
a money grab, dude.
Yeah, it's so fucking stupid.
Damn. There's people in rehab getting fucked up. I mean, it's
just so fucking
it's
stupid.
so bad.
Like the system's broken, And like I said, that's a whole nother episode.
Yeah.
But, man, I really appreciate you
Oh,
coming.
for sure. I'm glad you had me, man.
And talking about addiction, but it is your first time here on the podcast.
Here, for sure.
Yeah. So you have to tell me your favorite Mexican restaurant in Southeast Texas
Favorite Mexican restaurant?
and what you're going to order off the menu.
Oh, my God.
Like if it's your birthday, I don't know why this is so difficult. Every guest I've ever had, they're
Okay,
just like,
so
holy
here's the
shit.
thing, man. You're going to get judged by whatever your answer is.
As long as you don't say Taco Bell or Cassoulet, you're going to be
Well,
all
see,
right.
I heard somebody prior, they're like, is Tijuanitas Mexican? Is it considered Mexican? See, that's bullshit because they have Mexican stuff on the menu.
It doesn't make it Mexican food. Just because it's Tia.
I'd have to say tequila's on Coldplay.
Okay. That's fair. That's,
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
my go-to.
But see, when I eat Mexican food, it's simple stuff. I either get fajitas or like quesadillas or some shit. I go for the margaritas. I like their margaritas.
Yeah.
You
I quit margaritas, so
Really?
yeah, sugar. That's
See,
one of the good things that came
That's
from
my cheat meal.
well,
You're not supposed to drink your calories,
that,
right?
that was one of the good things that came from me quitting sugar last year is I quit margaritas.
Really?
And now when I go to a Mexican restaurant, I get Tito's and soda. And now a lot of the Mexican restaurants around here.
I'm going to have to adjust mine because we went and had margarita Saturday. We tried the new place where Luke's used to be.
Oh, how was that? Like, by the way, somebody out there's got to know somebody at where's it? Was it called La Catrina?
La Katrina?
Yeah,
Yeah.
somebody's got to know somebody. Like, I would be excellent to give a food review. Like,
The
Jesus
margaritas
Christ,
were great.
set me up.
I mean, they were good. I had a grande and then a smaller one.
Was the food good?
We didn't eat. I just went to have a drink. I had a cheat meal earlier that day, so I felt like dog shit.
Oh,
You know how it is
yeah.
when you eat clean, and then it's like, let's eat Chinese food.
No.
And I was like, oh. So I had a grande and a small one. And I had a good buzz when I left. I know I was pissing Leah off on the way home. Just tick, 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 just talk. Because, when I get in that frame of mind, I'm like, let's go to Dylan's, let's go do this. And she's like, shut up, let's
Shut the
just
fuck
go
up,
home.
go
I'm like,
home.
you're no fun,
Why you got to be an old Betty?
I know. God, I just want to have fun, man. God. Anyway,
Anyway,
So,
well, I
yeah.
appreciate you coming, man.
I'm glad you had me, man.
Until next time, guys.